Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tiffany Benson, one part of Team Benson, and I am so excited to start getting ready for the fall. So in between work today, I am going to Home Depot to pick up a couple of different things for my fall garden. I'm finishing up all of the build outs here, so my garden will no longer look a wreck and everything will be put in place. So I'm really excited to get everything together for the fall, because the fall is our year. It's our time to shine as Zone 9B gardeners. It's when our gardens are beautiful. It's kind of like our start to the season. So we'll have fall, we'll have winter, we'll have spring, and then summer, we'll have the beginning of summer, and then the end of summer is always an interesting thing, and then it starts back over again. So for those of you guys that started your gardens in their summer and you're like, oh my god, this was craziness, gardening in the desert, the fall is going to be the time of the year where everything is going to be beautiful. It's kind of like the spring for most people, but we get it twice. We get the fall. Well, we get it 3 times, because we get the fall, the winter, and the spring. So I am going to be getting all the measurements for my new bed. I'm going to get something for minerals too as well, because for those of you guys that are starting new beds here in the desert, you want to add some minerals to your garden bed, because the soil here is horrible. There's not going to be anything in it. Everything that you need to grow, you're going to have to add to it. So my garden beds that I have now I just add compost to it, because I've already done that process of getting the soil the way that I want it to be and the way that it's healthy and it grows plants. But this new bed is going to be me starting from fresh. So I'm going to be able to go over that with you guys. So I'm going to be in and out of meetings today, but I'm going to take you guys to Home Depot when I pop into there and show you guys what I'm picking up. And then tomorrow I'm going to actually build the bed. So let's go to Home Depot. Okay guys, I just made it to Home Depot and I'm going to go in. I want to show you guys a couple things that I use for my garden as well since I'm here. So I'm going to show you guys how I make my arches, the things that I use, and then also the things that I'm going to use for my beds, which you guys will see that in the actual video where I build the bed as well, but then some of the soil. The soil for my in-bed garden, I'm going to use compost mainly, and some of the old soil from the pots, and then I'm getting new potting soil for the pots for the fall. So you guys will be able to see all that. Anyways, we're going into Home Depot. Alright guys, so if you get a 2x6, it actually fits perfectly. I'm going to get this one, which is a redwood. Now, many people have asked me what I use for my arches, and this one is it. It is the Mason ladder, and I just double those up to where they kind of overlap, and then just make an arch with them. Okay guys, so the plan was to take you guys into Home Depot with me, and even the Dollar Tree with me, but both places were seriously loud. If you guys are not planning your gardens right now, I would highly suggest that you start, because Home Depot is full of people trying to get everything that they need to have a fall garden, which I understand. I get it. So for my bed, you guys have seen in my garden beds before, I have the bricks that have like the little notches out in them, and when I build the bed, you guys will be able to see exactly those two as well if you haven't seen it before. But what fits perfectly in those are the 2x6s. And the nice point about Home Depot is that if you have the exact measurements of what you want, they'll cut the wood for you. So this saves you a lot of time, so you can just go in and get it. Now let's talk wood. So I purchased redwood. Redwood has a smell to it. I don't know why I smelled it like you guys could smell it. But redwood has a strong smell to it. A lot of people ask how I keep a lot of pests out of my garden, and a lot of times it is the type of wood that I use. I use either cedar for my mulch, and I also use redwood to build the bed. and also redwood kind of just stays a little bit longer. It's a little bit more expensive, but when you guys are putting together a bed that you want to last for a long time, it's going to kind of pay for itself. Now, when I was at the Dollar Tree, I picked up one of these that Mr. Benson stole the paintbrush out of because we are doing some home renovations. And this has a glove, and it also has like a little well and a roller paintbrush. Now, I get one of these once a year from the Dollar Tree because it's only $1, and I use this to put mineral oil onto my beds. That's another thing that keeps my beds nice and healthy, is that I get a mineral oil, which I will link tomorrow or show you guys tomorrow because it should be coming in later today. I do order that one from Amazon. I'm just waiting for it to come in. But I put a mineral oil on all of my wood beds, and every year, sometimes every 6 months, I'll go through and I'll just use this little guy and just will it on all of my beds. And that kind of helps keeps like a barrier from the rain and from me watering and the wood rotting. So that's something that I highly suggest if you guys are going to be using wood for your beds. Make sure you get a food grade mineral oil that you can cover with it. I'll actually link the one down below that I am going to be using, the one that I'm waiting for, so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. Now, the next thing I want to talk about are grow lights. I had this question down below in one of my comments on what type of grow lights that I use. Now, there are the traditional hanging grow lights that you can get. I had a hard time finding those when I originally was looking for those actual grow lights, and then I also had a hard time finding something that would fit in the area that I have it in. In that big little shelving unit that I have, each section has like little holes where the shelves are. They're not like completely flat. So any grow light with the stand would fall, and it was kind of hard kind of just hanging things. I like to get these, which basically is a floodlight, and you can clamp them onto things. So I clamp these onto the tops of like the railing for that shelving, and then I also clamp it onto PVC pipe sometimes if I want something that's just going to be direct. Sometimes I do grow things in our spare bedroom, and I'll just clamp it on there on a PVC pipe and have it like that, and it'll just kind of glow down on whatever, and I put the PVC pipe into a bucket. But typically I do it in our laundry room on the shelves, and these just clamp right onto the shelves, and they come with their own plug. Now, when it comes to lights, you want to make sure that you have one that is called a grow light. So this one I got from Home Depot. It is by LED, and it's called a grow light. So there's going to be different types of light bulbs that will give off different things. So this one is a full spectrum one to enhance plant growth. So it'll give off a different type of light that is more comparable to outside lighting, like the sun's rays. So you can't just have any type of regular light bulb. You want to make sure you have one that is for a grow light, and that is for growing plants. So the next thing I want to talk about is kind of having like an overall fertilizer to get your soil going. Now, in Arizona, our soil is rock hard. It's rock hard. It's hard to kind of establish just an in-ground bed that you haven't worked through over time. For me, it takes a lot of me. I can barely dig into my ground, which is why I have the raised beds. So one of the things that I do is I encourage the worms to get down there and dig, and over time they have. So when I'm making the bed, you guys will see me add little layers of things. As I try and dig in, we'll see if I'll be able to dig in a little bit. I've been watering the area to see if maybe, just maybe it'll happen, but I doubt it. But I do add minerals, and I also add a fertilizer. So this fertilizer has a bunch of different minerals and just nitrogen and different things like that. This is an organic fertilizer by Kellogg's, and it's the Organic Plus brand. Now, when I buy potting soil, I always buy the Organic Plus brand, which I did buy. I didn't lug that in here from the car yet, so you guys will see that in a later video when I start planning out the pots. But having a fertilizer to kind of get your soil going and get the bed going is going to be great. And this is not a liquid fertilizer, guys. It is a dry fertilizer. So let's see if I can get in here and show you. So as you can see, it's more like pellets, and these kind of break down over time. So just having that into your soil and mixed into your bed will kind of give it just that extra boost, and it'll kind of break down over time. So over the year of growing and over the years that you're growing your garden, that fertilizer will be fertilizing and feeding your plants, and then also it will be conditioning your soil to where you'll get to the point to where you don't need to do too many amendments to your soil. Now, I probably add this to my soil maybe about once every year and a half, and usually it's when I'm building something new and I have a big bag of it, I'll just take the rest of the bag and kind of spread it around the other parts of the garden. But it's something that once you get into your soil, it will really help have that health of your soil just maintain and growing space that you need for your soil. Sorry guys. So those are the things that I got from Home Depot that I'm going to be using to grow the rest of my stuff indoors, and then also to start preparing my medicinal garden bed outside. All of my garden beds I will be adding compost to, which if you guys live in Arizona, the AZ Worm Farm is going to have compost August 10th. I will be there, so if you guys are going to go get compost, make sure you say hi to me if you see me. I will be the one probably with a selfie stick waving to people. So I will be there, and make sure you guys are there because compost is going to be a big thing when they open, because they are already trying to make enough to be able to keep up with the demand of everybody gardening. The last thing I'm going to show you guys is a suggestion that one of our viewers told me, and it was to get the trash cans, which I went to the Dollar Tree and they didn't have the trash cans, but I found these baskets that I'm pretty sure it's a pack rat that's eating my plants. So this will give enough room for me to put over top of it, and I have some bricks that I'm going to put over on top of it, but that it won't be able to get into it and it won't be able to push it over, but it'll also give enough room for the plant to grow. So these are going to go on my 3 remaining squash plants, and hopefully we can get them to be a less yummier size. So I hope you guys are planting your gardens. I hope this information was good information for you guys and it was helpful. But start getting your fall gardens together, start planting. I know it's 118 and we're in a heat wave, but you have to start thinking about fall if you want to have an amazing crops early fall. So until next time, grow yourself a garden, because even a small space will provide you with tons of food. Bye guys.